Hey, everybody, it's time for another daily drop here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and the topic once again today, the third-ranked North Carolina basketball Tar Heels. Carolina 16-3 overall, 8-0 in the ACC, won 9 straight. Tomorrow, they're in Tallahassee to take on the Florida State Seminoles, Tuesday at Georgia Tech, and then Saturday at home against Duke. The season is really starting to heat up right now. Got some tough games coming up after Duke, by the way, Clemson at home. Then they go to Miami and go to Syracuse. So this is a pretty interesting stretch coming up. Lots of losable games for a very good team that is getting better each time it steps on the court. And one of the things I want to talk about today is why this team is getting better and why it's built to deal with so many different types of games and situations. And I like to call it brawling ballerinas. What I mean by that is real simple. The brawling part, we've talked a lot about this year. In fact, I had a few people that I run into at games and they'll say something about the lunch pail or the hard hat mentality, because I've talked about that a lot. So I'm trying to pull back a little bit from overuse of some of these terminologies. So I'm going with brawling. Brawling's a good word because this club brawls. I've done the back alley thing too. They brawl. They brawled at BC. They brawled verbally, they brawled physically, and then they brawled with their skill, which is where the ballerina stuff comes in. We're talking about a club here that can win on the road 65-55, holding a team way below their scoring average and winning by double figures when they themselves are way below their scoring average. They're comfortable in a slugfest. They're comfortable in what people call a rock fight, which is a pretty cool term. They're comfortable when a lot of their stuff that they're running isn't fluid and isn't working. They're comfortable when they're 0 for 8 in the first half from three-point range against Wake Forest, and they're in position to roll and win a game. Even though they only hit, I think, 5 threes against Wake, they still win by 21. They score 48 points in the paint against Wake and 5 from Armando Bacot. So this isn't just the RJ show. It's not just the Bacot show. It's not just the, boy, Carolina's outscoring people again. Remember in 17, remember in 16, remember in 9, remember in 8, remember in 12, when the pundits were out there saying, well, can Carolina defend enough? Will they defend enough? When discussing them as being worthy national championship contenders. No one's asking that question now. In fact, I was in Steve Forbes' press conference the other night. He's the Wake head coach, and he was talking up Carolina big time, and it was coming from here, and it was coming from here. When he said they're an elite defensive team. Elite, he said. And then he also noted that they have a better efficiency rating on defense than they do on offense. Then he mentioned Armando Bacot, and he said, and I quote, he sets physical ass screens, end quote. That was not a criticism some people took. That was a compliment. Guys bounce off Armando when he's setting screens like bullets bounce off Superman. And then he talked about RJ being the best player in the league. And he talked about Carolina's ability to get out and run, score, and transition. And he talked about Carolina's balance. And he talked about their depth. Like other coaches, Earl Grant said the same things. Brad Brownell said a lot of the same things. Kenny Payne said a lot of the same things. Adrian Autry said a lot of the same things. You get my drift? So you can go down a lane of talking about Carolina being gritty, the lunch pail stuff, brawlers, back alley dudes, boxers, rock fight specialists. They can win the old Big East every night they step on the floor. And you won't be wrong. You're accurate. But you can also go down another lane, which is the ballerina lane. That's the lane where they score 26 points in 8.5 minutes, which they've done, I believe, 6 times this year. That's the lane in which they score 50-plus points and a half, which I think they've done like 9 times, 8 or 9 times this year. That's the lane when they go crazy shooting from the perimeter. That's the lane when they get a bunch of fast break points. That's the lane like the other night against Wake Forest where the 3 wasn't falling. So what does Carolina do? They drive. They drive and they drive. RJ Davis goes for a career-high 36. He hit 4 threes. But he had 10 buckets while driving into the lane. Layups, floaters, runners. It takes skill to do that. It takes brawn to do what they do as well. And that's the thing that absolutely impresses me about this team. So I'm going to throw you some numbers. I know this is numbers week here on the Daily Drops, and I don't want to drown you out, so I'll go a little slowly. But these numbers are important. They sort of illustrate some of the things I'm talking about. For example, against Wake in the second half, Carolina, or for the game, Carolina shot 52.5%. Ballerina. They out-rebounded Wake by 13. Brawling. They held Wake to 26.7% from the field in the second half. Brawling. Against BC, Carolina held the Eagles to 34.5% shooting from the floor. Brawling. And they out-rebounded them 15-4 over the last 12 minutes. Brawling. There were little moments of Ballerina in that game. Not a ton, but there were some moments of Ballerina. A couple of impressive dunks. Harrison Ingram getting higher than anybody thought he could get. James Okonkwo shocking the world with his oop dunk to end the first half. There were other moments as well. If you look at the last 7 games, Carolina has out-rebounded its opponents by 113. That's over 14 a game. The last 7 opponents have shot 19.1% from 3. The last 7 opponents have shot 35.4% from the field. The last 7 opponents have 51 assists on 151 made field goals. That's a third of the time. That's it. UNC, on the other hand, 44.4% from the field. Not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. 75.2% from the line. They're getting the line a lot because they're making 16.5 free throws a game in that stretch. So it kind of makes that 44.4% livable when you're getting points in other ways. Carolina has an 89-26 advantage on fast break points in that stretch as well. And then you talk about RJ. Now, he's the ACC Player of the Year frontrunner right now. He's a National Player of the Year candidate. Talk about Armando Bacot. He's not racking the numbers up that people thought he would, but I think he's playing the best basketball of his career. He's playing the kind of game, and I started talking about this with some people about a month ago. His game was morphing in to what it needs to be wherever he plays at the next level when he leaves Carolina. And he's playing that way. You heard what Steve Forbes said, or at least I told you what he said about being a great screener. Armando clearing out space, allowing driving lanes. It's kind of funny because after, I believe, Louisville, he was asked by somebody about the rebounding that Harrison Ingram has been, the rebounding numbers he's been putting up. And Armando sort of half jokingly said, at the time, I thought it was half joking. He said, well, I'm clearing out so much space. I'm taking up so many guys. I'm leaving the rebounds for Harrison to grab. Now that I think about it, and I've been watching him more closely off the ball, even in rebound situations, he's kind of like that nose guard in football who takes 2 blockers. And sometimes you got to stick a fullback back there just to make sure he's dealt with. And when you do that, you open up opportunities for other guys to make tackles. Armando's doing that on the glass. He really is. You guys should watch him closely and see all the things that he's doing well, defending at a high level. So what you're getting from Armando, you're getting a lot of that brawn, but some of these things are skill too. His defense is skill. That's ballerina stuff. The way that he rotates defensively, he's blocking higher percentage of shots now than he ever has. That's ballerina stuff. But it's also brawn. RJ Davis, he's gutsy, man. How many times did he hit the floor against Wake? How many times Elliot Cadeau hit the floor against Wake? All on drives. So they're doing the ballerina, they get the brawl, and then they convert free throws and convert even on some of those runners, some +1 stuff. Cormac Ryan, beautiful jumper, catch and shoot guy, loves to run that curl. Got some brawl going on there too. Harrison Ingram, nicest guy you'll ever talk to, man. You would never know that he goes out on the court looking for a fight in a legal kind of way, right? He's got some finesse, got a pretty jumper. He's got a nice little thing in the lane, although he's been a little short lately on it, but he's also a brawny dude. Jalen Withers got a little bit of both. Jalen Washington is developing more of the brawn. Seth Trimble is fearless. Paxson Wojcik, he's also fearless. People like to dog him too, but man, when he gets out there, he's not invisible. He's not just standing out there taking up space. He's not a seat occupier. He goes out there and scuffles it up some. He's gritty. I mean, he's gotten his forehead gashed open a couple of times this year. Right back out there. So I think what's so interesting about this team is that they can club you to death or they can breeze by you. And they can do everything in between, whether it's 60 to 55 or 100 to 92 and everything in between. The Tar Heels have shown so far they're comfortable in all of those elements. And that's an impressive thing because there aren't many teams that are like that. And there have been a lot of Carolina teams in the past that are not like that. So far, that's what this team is. We'll see if it continues. The indicators suggest that it will continue, but they still have 12 ACC games left to play, plus the conference tournament. So anything can happen. But at this juncture in the season, the Tar Heels are checking a lot of interesting boxes. Ruggedness and beauty. And sometimes the ruggedness is beauty. And sometimes the beauty causes ruggedness. So they're working hand in hand. I think it's a pretty cool thing to watch. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about this brawling ballerina thing. If you think it's sort of an appropriate way to describe this team, would you lean that they're more brawl or more ballerina? Or would you like to see more brawl or more ballerina? Let me know. Tell us on Twitter. Tell us on our Facebook page. Tell us on our website. If you like this video, if you're excited about the way the Tar Heels are playing, go ahead and click like on this video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you get updates every time we upload a video, which is often. And guys, tell your Carolina friends that we're here. Tell them that we exist. If they love the Tar Heels like you do, they got to come over and check us out on our channel and go over to our site, tarheelillustrated.com. It's just $8.33 a month for a 1-year subscription, and you'll be amazed at all the stuff you get for it. You'll be amazed. And it's just $8.33 a month. It's the same price it was when I took over the site August 1st, 2014. I'm off to Tallahassee, so I'll see you guys after the game when I do the 3 things video, either with Jacob or Chelsea. Looking forward to seeing the next chapter of Carolina's very interesting basketball season. I'm AJ, and I'll see you guys later.